Good evening, and welcome to Counterculture with Danielle Gill. The culture's gone crazy, media's gone mad, and reason has become repugnant. Here we focus on facts and how to fight back. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the United Nations' recent attack on children. Whenever you go food shopping, the words natural, organic, and sustainable are recognized descriptors of a quality product. Packaging marked by these words sell at a considerable markup compared to those that are not. Conversely, you never see products loudly proclaiming they are unnatural or artificial, inorganic, or unsustainable. It's not even a point for argument for most buyers. If they could afford products that are organic, for example, they might prefer that over products that are not. Given the choice, people tend to be careful about what they put in their bodies. After all, our food sustains us. It energizes our bodies, maintains our immune system, and gives us both mental and physical strength. None of this is controversial or hidden knowledge. Our understanding of the importance and necessity of food is innate, because we get hungry. But while we are more likely to act on this innate knowledge when it comes to food, we are curiously less likely to do so when it comes to the institutions we surround ourselves with. This, despite the fact that in many ways we depend on these institutions for our survival and well-being, almost as much as we depend on food. And if you consider institutions, it's hard to imagine anything more natural, organic, and sustainable than the institution of the family. Families are the basic of survival. They are the most universal of institutions. The family transcends time, geography, culture, and background. All major world religions play a direct role in fostering and protecting the family. People who are concerned about the moral good tend to see families as playing a foundational role in developing a stable society. Again, this knowledge is not esoteric arcana hidden behind veils of inscrutable dogma. Like the rights enshrined in our Constitution, this knowledge is self-evident, meaning everyone can see it is true. And the data bears this out. High rates of divorce cause societal instability. Single mother households, regardless of if the mother was previously married or not, are a leading indicator that the child could grow up to become violent, to develop deviant sexual behavior, or become incarcerated. While some researchers debate causality, there is a strong correlation between single-parent households and their children spending the rest of their lives in poverty. The two factors are consistently paired. Where you see poverty, there are single-parent households. Where you see single-parent households, you see poverty. We also understand this by looking back. When divorce was less common, so was crime. And now that stable family units are such a rarity, lawlessness is rampant at all levels of society. So of course, families are good for the development of human beings and by extension for society as a whole, yet we as a society seem to be running from the institution. Why is this? Why are we inflicting this totally unnecessary pain and suffering on ourselves and our society? We are to blame for the condition we now find ourselves in. The past century has seen a number of legal novelties that have undercut the institution of marriage, perhaps none greater than no-fault divorce. Can you imagine people in the current age suing for divorce only to be ordered by a judge to get back together and work things out? That actually used to be a thing. You used to have to provide evidence to courtrooms supporting one of a handful of allegations that would allow for a divorce to be granted. Now, it's easy come, easy go, who cares? Marriage ceased to be a serious institution and became more of an accounting trick for a tax break or a way of allowing a second person to access your finance or medical records. Marriage has become unserious and completely detached from its original purpose, which was forming families. Which is why people who complain about the Gay Marriage Act need to do some soul-searching before criticizing that modern convention. It was heterosexuals who originally degraded the concept of marriage, not homosexuals. After all, would the institution be so coveted by gay couples if marriage was more permanent like it used to be? If it was more difficult to enter into, and a nightmare to get out of? Consider the fact that lesbian couples' divorce rate is almost twice as high as that of heterosexuals or gay men. Lesbians are also more likely to experience rape or physical violence in the home compared to straight women. And while the divorce rate for gay men is lower than the heterosexual average, that's likely due to two reasons. One is that women are the ones more likely to file for divorce. The other is that infidelity and open sexual relations are much more commonplace and accepted in gay marriage, for example. Yet, in the age of divorce courts, proof of infidelity would net the faithful spouse larger payouts and greater control of the children upon separation. Infidelity was seen as a serious crime against the couple's union. Whatever you think about society's drift away from traditional serious marriage to its current incarnation, you can't help but notice that the trend has been towards accommodating morally weak and unfaithful people. Marriage has been undergoing a long transformation away from its original concept as a lifelong monogamous union towards an institution that almost promotes licentiousness. Curiously, these changes are sold on the promise that they will make women more equal to men while improving the quality of women's lives. However, this is clearly not the case. In fact, as documented by Kimberly Ells in her book, The Invincible Family, which we will talk to her today, these supposedly evolved attitudes regarding marriage allow men to have sex with whoever they want, while leaving women to deal with the consequences all by themselves. So this isn't actually the best situation for women either. Ells' research traces this new societal force to academia and, yes, the United Nations, places where the philosophical rantings of the communist Friedrich Engels are treated as gospel. Quote, "While Engels couched his proposals for redistributing children and decimating the family in terms of, quote, freeing the woman, it is likely that his deeper goal was to free men. Socialist theory enables men to engage in any sexual behavior they wish without incurring family responsibilities. The problem Engels does not seem to grasp, or is trying to evade, is that women would still be the ones to become pregnant, would still possess the children who are connected to them at birth, and that women might care about this." End quote. It's hard enough to convince a society as shallow and worldly as our own modern society to return to traditional concepts of family and marriage. But as Ells' book shows, there is a large contingent of powerful transnational institutions who see the destruction of the organic institution of the family as a priority. Yes, the United Nations. As she points out, this is accomplished by couching these programs in the language of freedom. They want to emancipate women from the tyranny of the patriarchy, and stunningly enough, from their own biology. Now, how could this possibly be good for women in any country around the world? But misleading sales pitch or not, there's no denying that this program amounts to little more than misdirection. It has nothing to do with freedom and more to do with fostering dependency by atomizing society and separating children from their parents.